Hey y'all, I just wanted to share something with you guys really quick. Um, it's like I'm laughing and smiling because I always laugh and smile at stuff, even though it may not even be funny. But of course, I was on social media and we was in this little group or whatever, and there was a thread came on concerning like Cardi B and Stephon Diggs and all of this kind of stuff, whatever. So the caption read that she's moved on. So I made a comment. I was like, well, no, somebody else made a comment, and they was like, yeah, she's stupid, this, that, and the third. So I put up a comment. I was like, well, sometimes, when, a person get fed up with how they're being treated, they move on, and it's nothing that you can do about it. They don't care if they got 1,000 kids by you and whatever. If you keep hurting a person, they gonna like eventually say, enough is enough. So I got a message that somebody replied to my comment. And so it was like, nah, she's stupid. Out of all the people that she could have picked, why would she pick Stephon Diggs and this and that and the third? So I was like, well, I don't know them personally, and I don't know Stephon Diggs personally, and I really don't care about what personal business they got going on. All I'm just saying is that maybe she just got fed up with her husband, and she just, and this enough was enough, and that was just it. So anyway, they kept going back and forth with me, and I was like, kind of like kept putting the laughing emojis, and I guess they kind of made her mad. And then this one guy got on there and he said, why y'all trying to come at her because of her opinion? What she said was right. And immediately, because it wasn't just the one guy, it was another guy kept commenting up under, and they was just like really coming at me. So once that guy made that comment, like, y'all need to sit down and shut up. What she's saying is true. They never said anything at all. And I just was thinking about, I miss those type of men, that stand up for women and stuff like that. And the reason why is because I'm gonna tell y'all, when I was in high school, I was dating my daughter's father. I was in my senior year, and he came to pick me up. And he was a few years older than I was, so he came to pick me up, and he was like, "Hey, babe," when I got in the car, he was like, "Hey, babe, how was your day?" So I started talking to him about. I said, "Let me tell you." I said, "This girl was saying something about this other girl and da 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 da," and I'm going on to tell him about the conversation, and he looked. He was like, he said, "Babe, I don't want to hear that." He said, "When we getting ready to go eat?" So now I'm mad. I got real mad because I'm like, what? He gonna ask me about my date. He ain't gonna tell me he don't want to hear it. So he was like, "What we getting ready to eat? You want such and such?" So I'm half answering. So later on that night, I'm still mad. So we lay down and he tried to, cuddle with me. And I'm like, he said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "I was trying to tell you about my day and didn't want to hear it." He said, "Yo," and he thought about it. He said, "Babe, I don't want to hear that." He said, "You was telling me about some girl, this, that, and the third." He said, "You forget." He said, he said, "I'm a street guy." He said, "When I'm out here," he said, "and I got you with me." He said, "Not only do I have to watch my back, I got to watch your back." He said, "People out here jealous and stuff." He said, he said, "I don't get into listening to stuff like that." He said, he said, that doesn't put money in my pocket." He said, "I'm thinking," he said, "a man," he said, "we're thinking." He said, "I got to make sure that my bills paid so that when you can come over, you got heat, you got the cable you like to watch. If you see an outfit, some shoes, I got to make sure I got money in my pocket. I'm worried about stuff like that." He said, "What you talking about is, that's just," he said, I don't get into that." So I was like, and then he said, "Okay," he said, "What she say, girl?" And when he said that, I laughed. And, and I just laughed. Now he said, "See," he said, "Mina tabati manga." He is foreign, so that's what he said. He said, "Mina tabati man." He said, "That's rubbish what you're talking about." He said, "Now, if nobody's hurting you or anything like that," He said, I real men don't sit there and gossip and do all that stuff. We don't do that. I'm a real man. And, so that was been embedded in me since I was a teenager, that because he said that, it's been embedded in me. And now when I see men, gossiping and doing all of this and saying all of this kind of stuff, and the only thing I be doing is looking at them and be like, well, they must got on them light blue see-through panties with the pink trim that Plies was talking about. But it just was so funny, and I just wanted to share that because it is such a difference now than what I grew up with. And it's just so sad because I feel so sorry for these young women and women in general now that they have to even deal with that. These men sitting up there, I done heard more tea from men than I have from women. These men sitting up there making the tea, bringing it to the table, and too broke to even buy the tea. But it is what it is. But I just thought that was rather funny because I see that a lot lately, and I just wanted to address it because, it is what it is. But anyway, you all have a blessed evening. Bye.